Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to my channel Study with J.K. Durrani. Today our lecture is about the Augustan age, and this period was famous and known by the Alexander Pope. As it is crystal clear that Alexander Pope was a poet as well as a prose writer. He wrote mock poems in order to attach on his own contemporaries. He wrote his famous work, An Essay on Criticism. He also used heroic couplets in his work. Another famous poem of his time was The Rape of the Lock, one of the best mock heroic poem of his time. Moreover, he translated two books into English, such as Iliad and Odyssey, and due to these books' translation, he became much wealthy of that time. Other poets of his time were William Blake, Oliver Goldsmith, Robert Burns, and other were the important famous authors such as Thomas Gray, and as well as we can see over here renowned author or renowned dramatist of his time and the poet who have worked in the Augustan age, such as Alexander Pope was known by his own figure of writing, figure of rhetorics, Alexander Pope, Oliver Goldsmith, and as well as Thomas Gray. William Blake, who was a poet plus painter of his own time. And our next is Robert Burns. We will see over here, Robert Burns was known as the national poet of the Scotland. Robert Burns, he was a poet, even a national poet of the Scotland. In the Augustan age, novels also started to be developed in 18th century. Augustan age was such an age that in this period we could not see just the poems or the critics, such as Alexander Pope wrote An Essay on Criticism and as well as others. So there were development of novel also started in the 18th century almost. As the name of Daniel Defoe, which was very famous journalist, he wrote a novel by the name of the Robinson Crusoe. Daniel Defoe, basically he was a journalist. He would write journalism articles for publishing. So he wrote a novel by the name of Robinson Crusoe. And other Richard Steele, we will have another name by the name of Richard Steele, who started work in the prose. We will see another person, another good author, that is Jonathan Swift, who also played his role in the Augustan age. And next, our famous author or famous, he was known as by the name of Samuel Johnson. His age is also known as Johnson age. So Samuel Johnson is also one of the main figure of his time, who was known as the pioneer of the dictionary, who gave dictionary to us, to the learners. And he wrote one famous work by the name of The Lives of the Poets, which contained 32 sonnets almost. And another one we will see over here, that is about the Edward Gibbon. We will have over here by the name of Edward Gibbon. Edward Gibbon also, he wrote one of the famous work by the name of The Decline and the Fall of the Roman Empires. Mid-18th century came and novels became very famous at that time, at the mid of the 18th century. Samuel Richardson was a great novelist who published his first novel by the name of Pamela in 1740. In the shape of the letters form, and the second was Clarissa, another masterpiece work of his time. Similarly, Samuel Richardson became a very famous novelist at that time. As the time was passing, Henry Fielding, who was a playwright, who would write plays, and he also became the learner of writing novels. So he wrote in the response of the Pamela, Joseph Andrews, and in the response of the Clarissa, he wrote Tom and Tom Jones. And because of these two novels, Henry Fielding became much popular in England. And due to these two novels, he became and he is considered as the father of English novel. Similarly, another novelist was Lawrence Sterne, a famous novelist of his time, who wrote a famous novel by the name of Tristram Shandy. And other best and unique workers were also involved in this time. Before Romantics, Horace Walpole, a Gothic novel writer who was known as a Gothic novel writer, also played his performance, his role in the Restoration period. So these were the basic and the important figures of Restoration age. Hope so you have got this lecture. If you have any sort of question, you can comment. Hope so we will see in our next lecture.